I became an apprentice at Holton, had a very interesting life at Holton, met very interesting people, including Dick McTaggart, who won the Golden Gloves as an Olympic boxing champion. Then when I graduated, I was posted to Lynham, which had Comets and Britannias, and in my book are wonderful pictures of the TSR-2, the fastest bomber we ever produced, and was scrubbed by the then government, but all its technology went into the making of the Concorde. So nothing was wasted, and I met people who were directly related to the early days of flight, the Cody family, and also we had a situation later on in my RAF life where I married when I went to RAF Chivner, and the family that I married into, the Isaac family, they were engineers, and my father-in-law was chief engine fitter to the test pilots who pioneered the jet engine, discovered by Whittle. So we have connections at the very early edges of flying. And when I was posted to Borneo and Malaya, I worked and flew with Polish pilots who were in the Battle of Britain squadrons. Also, our radar officer on RAF Labuan was effectively the best pilot in the Battle of Britain, Ginger Lacey. He shot down more aircraft than anybody, but because he was a sergeant pilot, he didn't get the recognition. All of these events are described in my book with pictures and pictorial stories linked to these events. And then from my final years in the RAF, I was posted to RAF Larbruck in Germany on Canberra bombers. And when I came back from my 3-year tour, I was posted to RAF Sanathan. And it was this period where I became somebody that could do this, do that, and do the other, because I ran the equivalent of a technical university, supplying 31 aircraft of 11 different types, all on my inventory, to the training school. So whatever they needed, I supplied it. And I was lucky in that respect to hear that I was in contact with people in Llantwit Major, because I had now bought a house in Llantwit Major, the nearby town, and I landed a very good job connected to a major insurance giant. What was interesting in this period, I worked coaching the local junior football team, because I now had 3 sons, and I coached the team with the help at one time with Steve Jones, who won the World Marathon Championship in Boston, and he won $100,000 and a new Mercedes for breaking the marathon record. And he was a personal friend. So these people in my work, and I had contacts all over the world, but especially in Saudi Arabia, because many of the technicians, like myself, were going to Saudi Arabia. However, my new people that I worked for were having some difficulties in adapting to all the new regulations, etc., covered by the financial services, and we went our separate ways, and I started working as a broker. And it was during this period that I was earning very large sums of money, etc., and underwriting all sorts of clever insurance with the help of the insurance companies. And so, like everything, it came with a great big hiccup, and the only way out of the hiccup was to go to Australia and see if one of my brothers could help me, because this company suspended all my cash flow while they were sorting out their problems. So I came to Devon to be with my mother, and I've explained the reasons in my book, and I became her carer, and I gave away my assets so I could get legal aid. And it was during this period I then became an inventor. Necessity is the mother of invention, and it's this situation that we had where I started looking at the money paid for the disposal of truck tires, and how the truck tire business had a big problem because truck tires had so much strong steel in them that they were very difficult to break up with plant machinery. You needed machinery that was 750 horsepower, had shafts in it as big as telegraph poles to try and cut it up. So I designed a new machine which could punch away this difficult steel and rubber and separate it, and it was only 35 horsepower and could take apart one of these wheels in 42 seconds. So I approached Plymouth City Council and Cornwall Council for monies to, or a grant to develop the machine and design it with Morris Automation in Plimpton. And it was this period then that effectively we achieved making a machine. We tested it in one of the biggest tire dismantlers in the country, who used their rubber for making running tracks and children's playgrounds. So we now had a situation where everything was going forward, but all of a sudden, when you get grant money, there's always somebody trying to take part of your intellectual property, and this is what happened, and we had to effectively shut down the company to prevent this happening. So the situation, it was one step forward, two steps back. So the situation for myself was, if one part of the invention system was not working or not going forward, we would go to what else we were working on at the time and chase that part of the system.